Hello, my name's Brandon Ramacco, and today I'm going to talk about how to change. Now, in general, we have a good idea how a person can live a long, high-quality life full of happiness, restful sleep, strong interpersonal connections, and how to be lean, fit, and full of energy. If I were to know exactly how to fix your life, 100% of your problems would be solved if you just follow my advice. Could you do it? Could you change? Being capable of change is easier said than done. It would be remiss of me to give you the solutions, but not the tools that facilitate them. I'm going to start with talking about the self-image. There's a very famous book called Psycho-cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, published back in the 1960s, which has been helping people achieve goals and change their lives for many decades now. Famous golfers, high-level athletes, CEOs, public speakers, etc. I highly recommend it, particularly the excellent audiobook, which can be found for free on YouTube. I only discovered it after reading more modern books on cognitive behavioral therapy and coaching techniques, and this book really sets the foundation for all of that. The brain is a powerful tool. It works in ways you don't realize. How many times have you zoned out while you've been cleaning the table, or you've driven halfway home without realizing it? Its capabilities go beyond conscious thought. If you want to steer this incredible piece of machinery towards your goal of change, then you must reprogram the system. But how? One place to start is a self-image. If you imagine yourself to be a certain way, your brain's subconscious efforts are going to do their best to reinforce those thoughts, to try to ensure those outcomes. Any thoughts counter to the self-image will be rejected or strongly resisted. If your self-image is of someone who just can't drink plain water, then plain water tastes disgusting. Your brain is telling you not to drink it. An example from before and after Psycho-cybernetics for myself. I thought cleaning was a waste of time. Only really cleaning my kitchen before and after major cooking sessions. But I was tired of being embarrassed if someone stopped by randomly or losing things on the messy table and counter. Now, if it would take less than 1 minute, just do it right away with some advice I read, and I've been told that before. Just if it takes less than a minute, just do it right away. Well, this seems reasonable. When I tried to put it into action, I could feel the resistance. That minute took forever. If it should have taken a minute, it might have taken me 5. I just had to drag my body around the kitchen. And ultimately, I'd be disappointed in myself when I would often quit just 10 to 20 seconds into doing it. Like, how weak I must be. How pathetic. I can't do something for even a minute. It sounds so stupid. Now, after reading the book, I did some thinking exercises about how I'm someone who keeps a clean table. I now don't have to think about cleaning it. It just happens. I get annoyed and clean it right away. Like, I need to clean it. I feel compelled to clean it. I'm often done before I've realized I started putting things away or I wash some dishes. It's effortless. My brain is helping me instead of screaming at me to stop. Now, you can't think your way to the impossible. Thinking, I'm someone who can fly, won't make it true. You also have to work on your self-image, not on things you can't control. I'm someone who can get through this tough time rather than this tough time will just go away. I'm someone who can study rather than just, I'm going to ace this test. Now, we're talking about tests. Not that having a clear goal like passing a test can't be helpful. Thinking and believing in a positive end result can give your mind a goal to help you with, making studying more effective, reducing anxiety during a test, and maybe helping you recall things you might have otherwise forgotten. But if you never studied at all, if your brain was never exposed to the information, or you're wishing you passed after having already written the test, that may be setting yourself up for failure. So, for the purposes of improving lifestyle habits to prevent, treat, or reverse disease, and to improve your quality of life, then at the very minimum, you need to imagine yourself as someone capable of change. Now let's talk about cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. This is perhaps the most well-researched style of mental health counseling, with positive results for depression, insomnia, weight loss, and more. It has been shown to improve quality of life and help those suffering from psychiatric disorders, often comparable to pharmaceutical interventions. It comes down to examining your thoughts, beliefs, and learned behaviors, and then deciding if they are helpful or not, replacing unhelpful thoughts or behaviors with helpful ones. Often these unhelpful thoughts don't reflect reality. An understanding of other people's actions and behaviors may also play a major role. People aren't out to get you. Most aren't judging you like you might assume, etc. Developing problem-solving skills or action plans to overcome perceived insurmountable problems can be a component of CBT as well. We search for excuses to reinforce our bad habits, but if we realize we're doing it, we can think of solutions instead of excuses, which can help break those negative routines and negative outcomes. You need to analyze your thinking and practice reframing these distorted thoughts. I say practice because productive thinking may not come to you naturally. Here are 10 examples of types of distorted thoughts. Number 1, all or nothing thinking. I can't stay active or start being active because I don't have time to go to the gym for 2 hours every night. Well, being active doesn't mean you have to go from nothing to the gym 2 hours a night. That's all or nothing thinking. Oh, I can't be vegetarian. Well, I'm not telling you to be vegetarian. Can you have vegetables once a month? Right? It's not all or nothing. Number 2, overgeneralization. Doctors don't care about me, or nobody cares about me, or all that stuff is stupid. Number 3, having a mental filter. In this case, filtering out the positive to hear or think only the negative, such as hearing criticism, but not being able to hear positive feedback or praise. Number 4, mind reading. Mind reading is assuming that you know what another person is thinking. Oh, I know they're judging me. Oh, I know they're thinking about that time I farted in the break room. You don't know what they're thinking. Number 5, fortune telling. I know that if I try to lose weight, that I'll fail. You don't know that for certain, right? Number 6, magnification or minimization. Priorities and the focus of these individuals are irrational. A lot of these overlap with each other, as you'll notice. This overlaps with all or nothing thinking. This overlaps with filtering. Here's an example. I haven't done anything with my life and I'm almost 40. Well, sure. I don't have kids or a house yet. But if I look at it in a different way, I've lived in multiple countries. I've had multiple careers. I've completed more education than anyone else I know. So if I think about in some ways, it's very positive and I've done a lot. But if I think about it in other ways, it can be very negative. So it all depends on what you focus on. Okay. Number 7, personalization and blame. Attributing events or chains of events to yourself or others. One thing leads to another. Oh, I forgot to set the alarm, which meant this happened, this meant that this happened, and I lost the job, and then I couldn't pay off the car, and it's all because of that alarm. And so sometimes this is to the point of irrationality, that it's because I had to book this appointment for this reason, and this happened. Sometimes just things happen, and we get angry at someone for something that's not their fault. We get angry at ourselves, and it's not really our fault. So we've linked events together, and sometimes to the point of irrationality. Okay, number 8, emotional reasoning. So assuming your feelings match reality. You feel like a failure, so you are one. Well, that's not quite true. You may have failed something in your life, but you've succeeded at many other things to get to where you are today, right? So number 9, labeling or mislabeling. So I'm a messy person, or I'm stupid, or I'm a failure. This ties in closely with the self-image. You have to think you failed rather than are a failure. And this leaves room for the possibility that you might succeed. And number 10 is disqualifying the positive, minimizing any positives that are there. This is similar to filtering. You know, this can also be arguing that anything good in your life has little to no value. This can be used both to minimize your accomplishments and to form excuses. You know, oh, not drinking that 2 liters of Coca-Cola every day is going to leave me short on energy and caffeine. I might get a headache, and I hate the taste of water, so I'll get dehydrated. This line of thinking, the positives of not drinking the 2 liters of soda aren't seen or even considered. And it's not even considered that these negatives will be short-term until the body adjusts. Right. Now, so those are our 10 ways of thinking that CBT tries to undistort or address. One way to look at CBT is with 2 concentric circles. In the inner circle, you have your core beliefs. You have yourself and your views about yourself, your views and beliefs about others and what they think and view of yourself. And you also have your future. You know, what do you think is possible in your future? Now, those are your core beliefs, and they influence the outer circle, which is made up of behavior, feelings, and thoughts. And the outer circle forms a cycle, and it can go in either direction. Your behavior can influence your thoughts, which can influence your feelings, which can influence your behavior, or vice versa. Right? I ate a tub of ice cream. That's behavior. Now I feel sad and depressed that I can't stick to my diet. And so I think I'm a failure. Well, if I'm a failure already, then I might as well have another tub of ice cream. Right? You get this reinforcing negative loop. And so you want to have good core beliefs, and you want to look at your behavior and examine behavior. You want to examine your feelings. You want to examine your thoughts and see if you can break that cycle. Put some positive behaviors there, some positive thoughts there, some positive feelings to make it a positive cycle instead of a negative cycle. You want to reinforce good behaviors instead of reinforce negative behaviors. So let's talk about positive psychology. So positive psychology shifts the focus from the problem to what is working well. Now, it isn't just ignoring problems and difficulties, but it is searching out strengths, looking at the positive outcomes thus far and the possible future positive outcomes. Positive psychology can not only help with succeeding at making a lifestyle change, but by using it itself can be a lifestyle change capable of improving quality of life and resisting mental health issues. We all aim to have a sense of purpose, to feel actively engaged in an activity, to experience positive relationships, to celebrate accomplishments, and to have a sense of meaning. There are 5 elements to positive psychology encapsulated in the acronym PERMA, P-E-R-M-A. Positive emotion, engagement, positive relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. I'll go through these briefly in the context of supporting lifestyle change. First is positive emotions. Try to find ways to generate positive emotions like inspiration, hope, pride, interest, love, awe, and amusement. In the context of change, what strengths do you have that you could leverage to be successful? Maybe try gratitude journaling, where you write down a few things that went well each day and why. Engagement. Often this involves doing things that are challenging but still within your capabilities, leading to a sense of excitement, satisfaction, achievement, etc. We're aiming for this state of being when time just seems to fly by, and in a good way. Some call it a state of flow. Video games can often do this quite well. While I do recommend limiting sedentary time, and I will advise you to stay away from games involving predatory psychological tricks that aim to make you an addict, video games can be more engaging than a movie or book, help with coordination, and force your brain to work hard. A couple of recommendations would be a VR headset to stay active, or maybe something like Zelda or Mass Effect for those wishing for a more traditional or narrative experience. Engagement could be teaching your kids or your grandkids. It could be working in the garden. It can be anything using your strengths, skills, and experiences. In the context of lifestyle change, think of experiences that provide for engagement and align with your goals. Your goal could be as simple as enjoying life more. Positive relationships. Strong relationships have a huge impact on the quality of life. Do you have, or could you cultivate, a relationship which promotes growth, feels authentic, and involves someone who can understand you? In the context of lifestyle change, do you have anyone who can support you in a healthy behavior? If you currently get zero activity, do you think your wife would enjoy a walk with you after work? Could you play with your kids more? Maybe if it's diet, your daughter could keep track of your dietary goals. Maybe there is someone you know trying to make the same lifestyle change as you. Now, M for PERMA stands for meaning. So meaning is a sense of fulfilling a purpose. It often comes with a sense of accomplishment or serving a higher cause. So what do you derive meaning from? In the context of lifestyle change, could you combine that or twist that to help you with your goals, or at least motivate you towards your goals? Some examples include work, career, creating things, appreciation of beauty, love, family, friendships, education, personal growth, hobbies, volunteering, charity, physical health, mental health, spirituality, and religion. The last letter in PERMA is A for accomplishment. Accomplishment is experiencing success after working towards a goal. Reflect and stop to savor your accomplishments when times are tough. If you can set goals that are realistically achievable, you can experience more accomplishment and less failure. Think about how to overcome obstacles to succeed and any sources of support you might be able to get help from. So now let's talk about the stages of change. You can break the process of change into 5 stages: pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. At the pre-contemplation stage, you aren't considering actually making any change. The barriers, real or perceived, seem too insurmountable. But you'd like to change. At the contemplation stage, you feel that trying to make a change will likely happen, maybe not now, but you recognize the need and desire is such that it needs or should happen. Now at the preparation stage, you've decided to act, but you haven't acted yet. Maybe you have a start date on your calendar. Maybe you are working out the specifics of your goals, and maybe you're trying to figure out how you'll achieve them. Now, the action stage is when you're actually in the middle of putting your plan into motion. And you're actually in the middle of your plan. Now, after you've been in the action stage for a while, you ended up in the maintenance stage. The maintenance stage is after months of maintaining the change, and the risk of relapse is now low. Now let's talk about 2 important questions. So these are 2 questions that if you visit a lifestyle coach, a physician, or a counselor, you'll probably encounter these 2 questions. And these questions help to determine where to steer the conversation to best help the patient. The first is, rate how much you want to succeed in this lifestyle change on a scale 1 to 10. If this number isn't high, let's say 3 out of 10, then the follow-up question is, why didn't you rate it lower? This gets the patient to talk about why they want to change. Now the second question is, rate your chance of success on a scale 1 to 10. If this number is less than 7 or 8, then maybe they aren't ready to start. Or maybe they are at risk of relapsing, depending on the stage of their change. If the number is 5 out of 10, a follow-up question could be, why didn't you rate it higher? Or what would it take to get that number up to a 6 or a 7? This gets the patient to voice their concerns. And you can then discuss supports and solutions, or maybe try to reframe their thinking if it is distorted from reality, right? You can use your CBT. Now let's talk about SMART goals, right? Because if we have really good goals, we'll be able to achieve them, and we'll get a sense of accomplishment, and we'll feel good, and that will reinforce our thoughts and our feelings and behaviors, and we'll end up in that positive cycle. So setting reasonable goals is very important. And not just reasonable goals, SMART goals. Now, SMART is an acronym, SMART, and it stands for S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and T for time sensitive. Vague goals like eat healthier, be more active, lose weight, etc. don't have a clear success condition, nor do they include how to go about starting. Smart goals would be something like, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to walk around the block after dinner on Tuesday and Thursday. Or here's another one. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to include vegetables in at least 2 meals a week, starting after my Saturday grocery trip where I'll purchase the vegetables. The vegetables will be fresh or frozen carrots or broccoli, and they will be steamed or boiled. Notice how these goals are very specific, and it's like a test. After 2 weeks, did I succeed or not? And if I did succeed, that can, I can modify the plan. Or if I didn't succeed, why didn't I succeed? Right? And maybe reassess the goals again. Right? So these types of goals are very useful in progressing lifestyle change. Now, the last topic I'm going to talk about is where to get help. Now, where to get help can depend on the lifestyle change you're planning. But in general, in terms of help with motivation for change, look to your friends and family. Look to resources like the book Psycho-cybernetics and inspirational videos like as found on the After School YouTube channel. And of course, you can seek out those trained in coaching techniques such as health coaches, lifestyle medicine professionals, lifestyle medicine physicians, CBT mental health counselors, etc. You could even go a little outside the box too. For example, hypnotism can, not always, help modify your self-image, thoughts, and beliefs. So I hope you found this informative. I wish you the best of luck. Cheers.